Okay, so I've got my border that I've drawn in AutoCAD, and now I want to take this into Photoshop so that I can insert some images inside these different shapes that I've made. And so I'm actually going to use a layout that you can see down the bottom. We have two layout tabs. I'm going to use those to make my page for printing. So I'm going to click on Layout 1 there, and you can see it already has a page that was set up when the file was first made, and it's got a viewport. This rectangle here is actually a viewport that enables us to see what's been drawn back on the model tab. So you can freely switch between those different tabs, and you can see the second layout is the same as the first one, and they're both just giving us views back to that model tab. So again, on to Layout 1, and I'm going to then right-click on that tab and go to the Page Setup Manager. Now the first thing normally that you do when you're working with these layouts is set the size of the page. So again, here by clicking Page Setup Manager, then I'm going to click on the Modify button, and I can change my page. So I'm going to go down to the AutoCAD, so it's called DWG to PDF, which is a Autodesk program. You can use Adobe PDF, but you won't always have that. You only get that if you install Photoshop or another program like it. But with AutoCAD, you should always have DWG to PDF. Well, I'm using it. And then I'm going to use the A3 full bleed. So ISO full bleed A3 is what it's called. So that's a page size. So ISO is just International Standards Organization, and that usually deals with metric standards. And then A3, of course, is your page size. Full bleed just means using the whole page. Okay, so then some other important settings. You need to have what to plot set to layout. The scale should be on 1:1. And then the other important one is the plot style table up in the top right, and that should be on monochrome. That simply means make all the lines black. So I'm going to click OK, and then close. And we can see from the fact that this border now appears smaller, that the page has actually become bigger. Before it was A4, now it's a bigger page, it's A3. So I'm going to just zoom out a little bit so that I can see all of the page. And click on that border, and you can see that the grips come up. I'm going to click onto the bottom left corner and take that down to the bottom left corner of the page. And then the top right corner will take to the top right corner of the page. Now I'm going to double click inside that rectangle. And you'll see that now if I zoom, it's zooming just inside that viewport. So it's showing all of the things I've drawn before, and I'm going to, well, I'll show you two ways. I'm going to do a zoom extents. So I'm going to double click with the wheel. If you remember, that's the shortcut. But for those people who don't have a wheel, you can right click and then choose zoom, and then right click again and choose zoom extents. That does the same thing. So that's made the border fit to my page. So now I'll double click outside the page, and that's back to the paper mode essentially. So if I zoom now, it zooms the whole page. And so I'm going to just do a couple of little steps now to make this border not print. So I'll just zoom in so you can see why. It's because we've got there, the border that I've drawn is this one here, but then the border of the view is still visible there, and I don't want that to print. So I'm going to go to Layer Properties and click on the New Layer button, which is up in the top left corner. And I'm going to call this layer viewport. So you can just type that in. You don't need to choose any location. You can just start typing viewport. And I'm going to click the colour there, which is white. And I'm just going to choose any other colour here. And click OK. So you can see there that colour's been set. So I'm going to close this now. And then I can simply click onto the border, the very outside border, and then choose the layer list up above and choose that viewport layer that I've just made. You can probably tell there it's changed colour. But to see that more clearly, I'll press Escape on the keyboard and you can see now really clearly that it is a different colour. And so now I'm going to print this to make a PDF. So to do that, I can go to the main menu in the top left corner, click Print, and then if you get this message, just choose the bottom option there, continue to plot a single sheet. And you can see my print settings are already done. So by doing the page setup earlier, that stores the print settings. So I'm still going to click on the preview button just to make sure. So there we are, that's how it will print. And, oh no, sorry, I've skipped a step. Okay, so you can see there, well, I'll show you why I realised. It's actually showing the double border still. So there it's got the outside that I wanted to get rid of. And that's actually not a bad thing that you've seen that. So I'll cancel this and now I'll go back to Layer Properties and next to the Viewport layer, I'm going to click on that printer icon, which will make it non-printing. Close this and now back to the main menu and I'll click Print again. Continue to plot a single sheet, just like before, and again Preview. That's why we click the Preview button to make sure it's right, and this time I can see that it doesn't have that double border. So that's okay. So I'll again press Escape and then OK. And it's going to ask me where I want to put my PDF file. So you'll need to browse to your folder on the V drive, most likely in the class folder here, OneOS Digital Com Studio, and then go to your own folder. So I'll go to mine, and I might just leave the name there that I have already. You can change the file name if you like, but here I'm not going to change it. I'll just click Save. And there we are. So it's made a PDF file. And that's what it looks like. I'm going to close this now, and this is what it might look like in the end. But we'll get to that. So now I'm going to start Photoshop. So from the main menu, I can scroll down to find it. And then I can go and open. So on the file menu, choose Open. And again, browse to the same folder, OneOS Digital Com Studio. And again, into your own folder. You should be able to find that PDF file. Double click to open it. And leave all of the settings over here. So the important one to take note of there is the resolution. That should be on 300. And you might know that's standard print resolution these days. Okay. And so there we are. So it's brought that border in from AutoCAD, and you can see it very faintly. But I'm going to zoom in just to show you that it is the same as AutoCAD. So to zoom in Photoshop, you can hold down the Alt key and then roll the wheel on your mouse. And you can see there zooming in, it does have those lines, the same as AutoCAD. So I'll zoom back out and you can see it's got this checkerboard background, which simply means it's transparent, and that's exactly what we want. We don't want it to be filled in. We want a transparent background. So over on the right, you can see I've got the layers panel. It's just a bit hard to see, so I might maximize Photoshop and then just click on it to bring that up. So you can see there my layers. So we've got a layer called Layer 1. And so what I want to show you now is just how to make a couple of layers and start bringing those images across. So here again, layer 1 is the active layer. I'm going to click the new layer button down the bottom, which is the second from the bottom right, the one that looks like a blank page. So now I've got layer 2, and I'm going to drag layer 2 now under layer 1. Then I'm going to go to the edit menu and choose fill, and choose white from the options there for the contents. Okay. So that makes it easier to see the lines as well as giving it a white background. So I'm going to double click on that layer name, layer 2, and call that background. Oops, had caps lock on, do that again. And so then layer 1 is the one with the lines, so I'm going to double click on that and call it lines. So now I'm going to click on background again, and that's because I want my new layers to go in between background and lines. So then I'm going to go to the file menu and choose open, and browse to where I've saved the images that I've downloaded. So I've downloaded quite a few images already that I want to use, so you'll need to go and find your own. And I've got mine in this folder here. Here we are. And I'm going to just change to large icons up in the top right corner so you can see the images that I've got. And I'm going to select one and then hold down Control and select the others that I want to open. Okay, so you can see these are all images of modernist architecture or modern architects. Maybe you know some of them. Okay, so by holding down Control, you can open many Photoshop files or many files into Photoshop at a time. And so I'll start with maybe one of the buildings. There we go, Seagram Centre. And so I want to copy this into my own file now, so I'm going to go to the Select menu and choose All. Then I'll click on the, since I can't see all the file names up here, I'm going to click on these double arrows in the top right, and then I can see all the files that are open. And I'll go back to the first one. And so what did I forget? Sorry, I've forgotten something again. So back to Seagram building, sorry, I forgot after select all, then edit, and then copy. So I did that on autopilot with shortcuts. So I'll tell you the shortcuts. Control A selects all, and then Control C copies. So you'll find you do that often without thinking. And then back to, again, the first page. And so before I paste, I'm going to go to the magic wand option over on the left. Make sure that at the top it's got sample all layers ticked. And I'm going to click into one of these areas where I want to place my image. And so now I'll go and I'll make a new layer. So you can see it's made the new layer in between background and lines. And then under Edit, I'm going to go to Paste Special and then Paste Into. Okay, so it's pasted the image, but you can see it's cut it out around that selection. So I'm going to use Control T, which is a shortcut for transform. I should show you that on the menu. On the menu it's Edit and then Free Transform, if your shortcuts aren't working. And then I'm going to hold Shift as well, so that then if I stretch this image, you can see it keeps it in proportion. Oops. So it's jumping a little bit. It shouldn't do this on yours. Okay, so I'm just stretching that image so that it fits. You can also, if you let go of Shift, click and drag just to move the image in this mode. There we go, that might do. And so once you're happy with it, double click, and that finishes the transform. Okay, so I might do another one. So I'm just going to again change with the tabs at the top to another image file and repeat those steps. So again, edit, under select all, edit, copy, change back to the original file, use the magic wand to select the shape you want, make a new layer, and then under edit, paste special, paste into, and then again Control T to stretch it. It is, yeah. So we'll go into masks later, but with this you should be able to just stretch them afterwards. But if you've used masks before, if you want to adjust it, you can of course do that. Yeah. So there we are. So now you can see, again, I might just move this one down a little bit afterwards. Okay, so you can just keep inserting images that way. Do you want me to do one more, or is that okay? Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of time to try that, and then we can come back to AutoCAD afterwards and still add some more if you're wondering about the solid borders that you can see here. You can add those afterwards, and I'll probably change the borders as well, and then I'll show you how to bring those changes from AutoCAD into Photoshop and update the Photoshop file. Actually the very last thing I'll do here though is do a save as in Photoshop and give it a new name, and make sure it's saving as a PSB file down the bottom, and then just click OK with the defaults here. Okay, so that should be enough. So again, I'll give you some time to try that, and then we can do some more things with AutoCAD, and then come back to Photoshop and do some more there as well.